From the biggest rapper in 2021 to a rapper that was sentenced to several years in prison due to witnesses and surveillance footage catching him using firearms towards other individuals, here is why Pooh Shiesty is being sentenced to 20 years in prison. When Pooh Shiesty started gaining some major attention in the rap world, he went to go meet two individuals inside of a parking lot. Shiesty arrives to the scene driving a bright green McLaren sports car, with his friend driving an all-black Mercedes. When Shiesty and his boy arrived, they hopped out of their cars and met the two men. They were originally supposed to be buying high-end sneakers as well as some narcotics before a concert that Shiesty had to perform at. Now at the time, Shiesty was wearing a mask over his face, which made it very hard for law enforcement to figure out who this individual was on the surveillance footage. Everybody was normal and everything was going to plan. Shiesty was showing these two fans the inside of his green McLaren until the transaction was about to go down for the shoes and narcotics, when Shiesty had a quick change of thought and ends up robbing these two individuals. That's when Pooh Shiesty pulls out a firearm and uses it towards the two men, saying, "Give me the sneakers and narcotics," and they ended up refusing, which made Shiesty end up using the firearm, hitting one in the hip and one in the backside. Shiesty then hopped right back into his McLaren with all of the goods. But while trying to rush and grab the sneakers and narcotics to make a fast getaway, a Louis Vuitton bag then fell out of his McLaren. In this Louis Vuitton bag was $40,912 in cash, and well, you're not gonna believe this, but Shiesty, he uploaded several photos to his Instagram doing the money stretch across his body, and well, the feds actually downloaded those photos, zoomed in on them, and in those photos the serial number on one of the bills on his Instagram account ended up matching perfectly with one of the bills that were inside of the Louis Vuitton bag, which does prove that it was Pooh Shiesty who robbed these men and ended up using a firearm towards them. Not to mention, which also made it pretty clear it was Shiesty, is that he was flexing this all green McLaren on Instagram on the exact same day it happened. This now means an Instagram photo will be getting used against him in court. Now this is some pretty severe evidence. As everyone knows, photo and video evidence in court is almost impossible to beat. Pooh Shiesty ended up getting hit with federal charges of conspiracy to possess firearms with an act of robbery, as well as using the firearm towards two individuals where they were affected by it. Pooh Shiesty will be facing a maximum of 20 years in prison for conspiracy to possess firearms during a robbery, but the most concerning part is this isn't the only case that Shiesty's facing either. Either Pooh Shiesty just can't stop living the street type of lifestyle, or he's definitely the unluckiest rapper that has ever lived. But the next case is also a very serious one, and this case starts in Florida. Now in Florida, there's a 10-20 life rule. This means that you will be put into prison for 10 years if you pull out a firearm without a license, 20 years in prison if you pull out that firearm and use it without defending yourself, but nobody in the end was affected by it, and you'll be sentenced to 25 to life in prison if you pull out a firearm, use it towards someone, and that person is then affected by it. And well, Pooh Shiesty, he was caught by witnesses at a club using a firearm towards a security guard, as well as it also being caught on surveillance footage. Now more detail about this is that on May 30th at the King of Diamonds club in Miami, Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty was performing for a crowd, and during the performance, Shiesty was seen having once again $40,000 cash sitting in his skinny jeans pockets. Now according to the official arrest warrant, Pooh Shiesty was performing at this club, and people in the crowd noticed the stack of money hanging out of his skinny jeans, about ready to fall out on its own. That's when the crowd got very excited, kinda started leaning towards the stage a little bit, and ended up smacking the stack of money out of Shiesty's skinny jeans pockets. Now $40,000 cash ended up plopping onto the floor. Now at this very moment, Shiesty, he got very angry. He even ended up hopping onto the floor with the entire crowd that was trying to grab his money. Shiesty ended up trying to defend his money that was on the ground, but it was too late as it was all kind of bundled up with elastic bands and it was pretty easy to grab. Now Pooh Shiesty ended up hopping back onto stage. This was to get an overview of the crowd to see who stole his cash. Now Shiesty, being very angry in this situation, was actually caught on camera maybe grabbing at his waistband where his firearm was actually located. This is when allegedly a security guard that works at the club put his hand on Shiesty's hand and was allegedly seen nodding at him, telling him this is something you do not want to do right now. That's when Shiesty got very upset. He stormed off of the stage and was exiting the club. When exiting the doors to leave the club, Shiesty was actually seen grabbing his firearm for sure out of his waistband. A witness claims that Shiesty ended up leaving the club, got into a little argument with some people outside of the club. Allegedly it was a security guard, and that's when Shiesty ended up using the firearm towards him and then ended up handing off said firearm to one of his friends who ended up dashing the scene. Him and the firearm, they were never found again after that. But the rap world's favorite lawyer actually ended up speaking about this situation, giving some very important details. The rap lawyer claims that due to how severe this court case is, with it being in Florida, with it being caught on camera, with it being caught by witnesses, and him having a whole other case that we spoke about at the start of the video involving firearms with him using it towards someone, they will not be going easy on Pooh Shiesty in court. Allegedly, a judge has already spoke on him in his bail request, saying there's no way you're even getting out of jail. You're going to be sitting in lockup until this trial starts. Now this had to have affected Pooh Shiesty in a very big way, as Shiesty ended up heading over to his next court hearing wearing what's called a turtle suit. Now a turtle suit is typically given to an inmate who is having a very hard time within jail or prison. This either means that the inmate was seen maybe crying or just saying some things about themselves that the law enforcement are kind of iffy about and that they're concerned about. So they ended up taking his clothes and gave him what is called a turtle suit. With this suit, you cannot do anything. If anything, it's kind of like a 20-pound vest that you have to wear, and it's extremely difficult to even take off. But hopefully Pooh Shiesty will find a way to beat these court cases. Pooh Shiesty is going to have some of the best lawyers that money can get due to him being signed to Gucci Mane's label and Shiesty being Gucci's biggest artist on said label. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about the video. If you're new, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. Anyways, I'm out. Peace.